The SEC entered October with 6 schools ranked in the top 15, but only 2 of those teams won last week. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Georgia. With dominating wins over ranked opponents, the Crimson Tide Bulldogs seem to have separated themselves. Both rank in the top 5 of offensive and defensive efficiency. Undefeated Georgia faces a 1-loss Auburn team on Saturday. Tim, you're down there in SEC country. Do you think Alabama should be worried about Georgia?
Absolutely. I mean, if you watch them play, if you look at that defense, if you look at all the playmakers, how physical they are on special teams, I think if there's a question mark for Georgia, it's how will their offense handle big games? How will they handle press coverage? Do they have enough playmakers on the outside? Other than that, you have a Georgia team that is so elite. Their front seven is one of the best probably in the last 8 to 10 years. I mean, this is a defense that has a chance to be up there with some of the great Alabama defenses in the past. And if there was a weakness, which I don't think there is, it would possibly be in their secondary. But I mean, this defense is ridiculous. I mean, multiple shutouts against really good teams. They're scoring more points as a defense than opposing offenses are scoring against them. I think if you're Alabama, you absolutely have to look at them and say, you know what, we have to go out, we have to play our best game to be able to beat this Georgia team. That's how good Georgia is right now.
Mere bag of shells, mere bag of shells. Ain't no reason to be worried if you're Alabama. You understand? I tried to tell you this. Now, you had one good weekend. Your Florida Gators showed up, was highly competitive, almost won the daggone game. I was shocked. I gave them props. But then you took it too far, Tim Tebow. You took it too far. I do remember you talking to me about how Ole Miss was going to give Alabama a run for their money. And what happened? Do you want to say it with me? Roll Tide. Did you see that? Held scoreless in the first half, 35 unanswered points by the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, please. Listen. You got a situation right now where we talk about Alabama, man. You talk about Bryce Young and the crew. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about Georgia. Georgia's defense is legit. I get that. They are elite. Their offense, that is an entirely different matter altogether, Tim Tebow. I'm not concerned about the Bulldogs. And by the way, there's too many damn schools in college that got the nickname Bulldogs, okay? There's too many of them, all right? Georgia, I understand, is elite in that regard, but against everyone but the Tide. They are number 2 for a reason. You got to play both sides of the ball. They got an elite defense, no doubt about it. Tim Tebow's absolutely right about that. Their offense is an entirely different matter altogether, scoring 10 points against Clemson. Please, ain't worried about no Georgia. They're going to get rolled, too.
All right, first of all, Stephen A., you know one of the differences between me and you?
Yes,
is
sir.
I can admit when I was wrong, and I was wrong. I thought Ole Miss was going to be more competitive. I thought they were going to score more. So you know what? I was wrong. I can say that open and honestly. But I'm not wrong about Georgia being an absolute, possibly a nightmare against Alabama. The way they play, the style that they play, it is such a style that is not good for Alabama to press the receivers, to not get them off the line, to be able to take away all the bubble passes. I'm not saying that they're better than Alabama, but I'm saying when they play, if they play in the SEC championship game or in the college football playoff, it is going to be an absolute battle, just like we saw 4 or 5 years ago in the national championship. That's how good this Georgia defense is, and if their offense continues to get better, yes, it will be an absolute war.
It'll be, listen, they'll keep it competitive because their defense is big time. I get all of that. But when you can't score, you ain't got no shot against Alabama. And I'm not sold on Georgia. I'm just not, because offensively, I think they're challenged. Defensively, everybody talks about their defense. But again, and not only am I bringing that up, it's Kirby Smart coaching them, who's an exceptional coach, and I get all of that. Except for when he goes up against Nick Saban. As every former assistant that goes up against Nick Saban ends up feeling the wrath. The man is 24-0 against his former assistants. None of them have ever beaten them. Okay, I understand people want to believe that Kirby Smart will be that first dude. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
But Stephen A., the one thing we have to take into account is that offense doesn't have to be ready next week. They won't play Alabama until the end of the year in the SEC championship game or in the college football playoff. So that what that offense has to do is continue to develop, to find more and more playmakers, because you got to remember, they lost their 2 top playmakers, their best receiver, their best tight end in preseason. They don't have them. So that offense is also trying to figure out who they are and developing guys. But they do have a lot of young talent that by the end of the year, maybe it's a different offense than we see right now. That's why throughout a season, you can be such a different team. Yeah, trust the process.
You don't develop against Alabama. You're either ready or you're not.
Stephen A.
And they ain't ready.
Stephen A., do you prefer Huskies to Bulldogs?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.